Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn and David Dollar.
Hey, Jenn.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast.
Podcast.
Good. I like
You see,
that.
I
I like
tried
that
it.
approach. Yeah, you're trying something different. I like it. Look at you. Surprises, Jenn. We have had
full of prizes.
We have had a busy week. You've had a busy morning. It has been nonstop.
It has been nonstop.
For me, it's been nonstop since probably Tuesday, getting ready for my Wednesday trip, Wednesday to Wednesday. For you, it's been nonstop since approximately 2016, maybe 15.
I mean, who's to say?
But besides the obvious, how did you Disney this week? And you can't say, well, I went on a Disney trip.
Well, I mean, I did. However, I'm also drinking out of my Disney mug. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. It's not working. Whatever.
That's okay.
There you go.
I see it.
There we go.
I see it.
Here's my Disney mug.
Nice. Very nice. I am Disneying by wearing my shirt that I wore for my anniversary dinner, and to lead up into that, the first day of the trip, because they came out with the bright colors now. The neon is the 2024 design.
It's like super,
I think it's cool. I think it's fun. You're not a fan of it. I know other people who aren't fans of it, but I think it's cool. It's like 2024, bright red neon and blue neon, whatever. And so they got the button-up shirts. They got the colors all over them. And I'm like, so the first day, this is really cool. I bought the shirt. I'm like, this is great. I'll wear this to the anniversary. It'll be fun, right? Right. Apparently, my beautiful wife, and I decided to dress up a little bit. I don't remember that conversation. Apparently, we had that conversation. Which is understandable because it's her 20th anniversary dinner. She had, Topolino's is what she wanted, which, I didn't know that until a week before that. I was like, oh, we decided on Okay, we'll do Topolino's. Yay. Which is fine. Of course, the top floor of the Riviera. The dinner is just fantastic. So, I'm planning to wear my 2024 shirt. She sees it and she's like, you're gonna wear that to the anniversary? And guys out there, for your ladies, when you hear that tone of a question, you don't need to answer that question because the answer is no. Is not what they're looking for. The answer you want to give them is no, of course not. I'm not wearing that. But by that time, they already know that's what you're going to do. So then it's like, oh, so you are going to wear that, okay? So I in the contemporary, I stumbled across this wonderful blue shirt with very light icons of the parks and stuff, and so I decided it'd be a good day to wear this on the podcast and to show you as well because you didn't know because
I did not
you
see
knew
it
about the neon shirt and you were like, oh, you're wearing that to your anniversary dinner. So,
to be fair, Kyla said the same thing as me.
Yeah, Kyla said the same thing as well.
We were like, no.
Yeah. I mean, I just chose not to get the 2024 Crocs, which is, something I didn't want to do. But
again, no.
Yeah, I chose not to do that either. But yeah, we had a great time, and we'll talk more about the trip coming up next week. We're gonna I think we'll talk about dining because on this trip, and you can give me your list as well. But on this trip, I ate at the Yachtsman, Raglan Road, Rose and Crown, the La Crêperie in France, the Brown Derby, by the way, Topolino's Riviera Resort. I think there may be one more that I ate.
Mama
Melrose. I ate all those places, and I think that you ate some of those as well.
Some of them, not all of them. Yeah.
I don't know if you had any meals that didn't involve me, which I don't know why you would, but yeah, we ate all those places. We'll talk about that next week. I know Kyla ate Tutorial of Forno as well.
Yeah, and I didn't eat a Tutorial Forno. Yeah, that's right. They made that breakfast for their their team did a breakfast.
Yep.
Did I eat anywhere else? I'm sure I did with Brady. I know we did. Well, I mean,
I'm guessing you had like counter service, but I don't know that you set up another dinner or meal or something because you were
I was
running
with the
crazy,
team most of the time
because Jenn set up the whole weekend basically from Thursday to Saturday night, which of course the team all came down for a team kind of gathering as a kind of camaraderie fellowship activity on Saturday, which we'll get to in a minute. And kudos to you, by the way, for setting everything up like you did. So congratulations on that. We ran the 5K. We did the 5K as well together. There was about 9 or 10 of us. Last year we had 5, so we kind of all stayed together. This year was a little more spread out because there were so many of us.
And we had a pack of walkers, and then we had some like run walkers. So we started off all together, and then we all met up in the finish line.
Yeah, and then Kyla and her husband Frank were like, just took off. And congrats to Quasi-Producer Heather, not only for doing her first 5K and her daughter doing her first 5K with her, but Heather also did the 10K on Saturday. Got the great medal. So so congrats to Heather on both of those medals.
Amazing.
Hard and well earned. Heather is not a runner. This is not something she does on a regular basis or she wants to do on a regular basis, but good job for her.
She did great.
It's inspired me to do the 10K next year. I think I'm going to do the 10K.
Are
whenever
you?
we all get together, whether we do it Princess or whether we team up again
Mhm.
on the springtime surprise, which I think has been part of the conversation, or
Mhm.
whatever we do. I think I want to do the 10K because I want that 10K medal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I've never done a 10K. I've done some 5Ks and that's it. Mostly on the treadmill, but as per usual, Run Disney, the 5K is really a glorified power walk for 45 minutes.
Pretty
You
much.
just walk really fast. 10K is when you get serious, but yeah, had a great
It
time.
was
We got our
great.
medals and stuff, and so good job on setting all that up. And of course, I mean, not that you set up the 5K, but
No,
you could have.
I did not.
You
I
could.
mean,
You could have.
I
So
said,
the big
everybody,
news.
let's do a 5K.
The big news this week is that Disney dropped their 2025 pricing. Now, this happened
Yes.
in 2021 after the
Yes.
2020 season, after of course the
Mhm.
darkest timeline as we've called it.
Yes, exactly.
In 2021, as getting ready for 2022, which of course circumstances dictated that, whatever.
Mhm.
So surprising everybody. Usually we kind of get a heads up and people kind of hear the rumblings of, oh, I think 2024 next year's pricing is coming out, next week or
Mhm.
whatever. This year we're literally on the trip and we
Yeah.
hear, oh, pricing out tomorrow. Okay, all right.
Literally, like the chat like blows up. The Facebook group
Mhm.
were like, okay. So I'm like, hang on, let me get some marketing together. Like,
Right. Right now, I have booked several families for this year who
Yes.
want to go next year, but they want to pay on their trip early, and I've had that happen
Yes.
several times. So
Absolutely.
we just move their trip to 2025, not a problem. Jen, and I have a theory, but any ideas from you, unofficially? Obviously, you don't know much of
Mhm.
anything, or what you can say. Do you know why Disney dropped pricing this early?
I honestly don't. The only thing I can think of is just that they wanted to give the opportunity for people to, pay over time.
Hmm.
I just think
Right,
with maybe how I mean, let's be real. I mean, inflation is a real thing, right?
it
It's a
is.
real beast. And there are people who want to go, and I think it can get people excited about their trip, and it gives people a little bit more time to pay on things, whereas I'm wondering, and this is a wonder,
Uh huh.
if they're seeing some more close in cancellations basically due to like final payment people not
Right,
being,
right.
and that is
Mhm.
complete and utter speculation on my part.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
think it's nice to have the opportunity for a lot of people to go ahead and get their stuff scheduled. I mean, through October, like that's
Right.
great
Right.
because
And it's
that gives you a
crazy
lot
that
of
we're
time.
talking about 2025 pricing,
Oh
like
my gosh,
October
right?
2025, which is 2 months away from 2026. This decade is almost half over, which is insane, right? Well,
Crazy.
first of all, my theory is it's the first step and combating Epic Universe. Epic Universe, I think we're going to hear this summer
Yeah.
when it opens up next summer. Like they'll say July, or I mean, they're saying summer
Yeah.
2025, but I think we're going
They're
to hear
saying
more
summer.
specific than that. I think Disney is beginning to move on the
Oh,
offensive to say,
that's
you
an
know what,
interesting
we got a
thought.
theme park coming. Let's go ahead and get these people booked now. Once they get their money paid, once they get everything down, they're probably less likely to say, you know what, I'm going to refund and go over here. Um,
Or
or
Or it could be strategic because if they're going to come down for Epic Universe
Mhm.
anyway, it would make sense. Like we
Yes,
already have Disney, let's tack on Epic
yes,
Universe. So,
exactly,
I
exactly.
mean, that's also
Mhm.
strategic.
Yep,
Like
because we know of there are three resorts there: the Terra Nova and the Terra Luna,
this,
Nova Luna Duna,
I
whatever,
don't
something
know.
Luna Lovegood, something there's two hotels there. That'll be like, I think, the value, and then there's the
Probably,
Helios, I believe, and I think the Helios is going to be pricey.
probably.
And I think again, you're right. Get people booked at Disney, and then they'll take a day or two to go to the new park.
Absolutely.
Whatever, especially because those hotels are going to book up fast, and probably for the
Yes.
first month or two, they're going to be completely
hmm
full.
hmm
And
And a
so,
lot of people do a split trip anyway.
yes,
If they want
yep.
a theme park trip, there are a lot of people who will like, okay, yes, I want to do Disney, but I also want to do Universal.
Yes, yes. Now, what Universal is trying to do is they want you to come for a week. They want you to come
Right.
for a full week, spend a full week there, which is
Yep.
understandable because they're opening
Absolutely.
all these hotels, three theme parks and such. But Disney's got that stranglehold, which again, I'm happy that this is happening because I feel like they're starting to take steps and go, you know what? We need to start some movement here and
But I will
go
say,
on
I
the
think
offensive.
it's good because
Yeah,
whenever
I think
you
it's great.
have like they have a friendly competition
Right.
going.
Hmm.
I'm going to call it friendly, and
Yep.
like, but it sharpens each other. If you're
Right.
like, okay, you got okay, well now I got to do this, and so it just
Right.
and it all benefits the consumer in the long run.
We don't have, and maybe we do, but not to the impact we had. We don't have Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock without the WWE competing with WCW in the 90s. Competition made both better. I'm just saying we had
Uh,
competition and both shined.
so
So, yeah.
about probably 70% of you don't get that reference, and I kind of get it. So
Well, it's wrestling. It's what it is.
It
But
is
there was
wrestling.
a huge wrestling company, WWE, WWF at the
I
time,
know.
then
No, I did watch.
WWE,
I did watch WWF.
WCW
I don't know that
emerged in
one.
the 90s. They
Do
were the
not know that one.
biggest for a while. They were beating WWE in the ratings, and
Oh,
it's called Monday Night Wars. There's a whole there's books on it. There's documentaries on it. It's
cool.
I'm not gonna dive into it.
I just remember WWF and The
Although
Rock. That's it.
although several of our listeners, Derek Crank included, we could have conversations about this
That's
because I was
true.
heavily involved in it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you're right. Competition is a very, very good thing.
It's a
So
good thing.
Jen, real quick, somebody's looking at maybe like summer 2025, August, September. Why in the world should they even book this far in advance? I mean, yeah, we're gonna go, but
All
I
right.
mean,
Let
why
me
should I
tell
put
you
money down right now?
straight up. This is straight up. I have had
Mhm.
this happen more than once where a client books crazy far out, like as soon as packages drop for like
Mhm.
as late in the year as they could possibly book. And then a discount, let's say, comes out.
Mhm.
And you go to apply it, and guess what? Their price goes up because the price of hotel has increased, the price of tickets
Right.
has increased, the price of
Right.
dining plan has increased. But just with through natural inflation, every year those things go up. It happens. We
Right.
always know approximately this time of year we're going to get a price increase. So, but whereas you are literally locking in the lowest rate that it will ever be because it's
Mhm.
this year's pricing.
Yep.
2025 pricing, well, when it comes out right now, this will be the lowest that it is. Now, granted, if it's the right discount or promotion, sure, it could go down, but everything will be repriced to the new prices. So it might not go down A as much as you think, or B might not go down at all. So you are literally getting the best value and also the best selection and availability. Things like the
Yes.
Polynesian sell super quickly.
Yep.
Things like I mean Grand Floridian Suites, like if you want concierge
Mhm.
there, it sells really quickly.
Depending on when you go, race weekend, your All Stars and
Oh,
Pop Century book up completely.
book up totally.
Completely.
The
Totally.
values book
Yeah.
up so far in advance. So get what you want because guess what? It's a $200 deposit. It's $200 either when you book it now
Yep.
or when you book it down the road and have less availability. So at least you have time. And you know what? Guess what? Something comes out and you decide to change. You're not locked into that exact package. We can add, we can
Right.
change, we can do all the things.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Agreed. And it is a $200 deposit. And if you can put 200, which if you can't afford $200, then you need to question whether you should go to Disney. That's fine. But $200, put it down, and it's there, and it's done. And
It's
you
done.
we work with you on payment. Disney doesn't have an official payment plan, but we as travel
No, but we
planners
can
will work on that because I've
we'll
had
work on
people
it.
email me, hey, the first of every month, can you take out so much money, blah blah blah. Yes, remind me. We'll make that payment.
Absolutely.
I've
Right.
got other clients who I don't hear from for like a year. And then, they'll respond like a year later going, okay, we got a final balance to do in 4 months. And, let's go ahead and start
Yeah.
paying on it. I've got people who say, you know what, we'll pay it the day it's due and we'll, whatever.
And
And
it's
that's
fine.
fine. It's
Whatever
your
you want.
flexibility. Exactly.
Correct.
And you're right. We can move things around as needed, add days
Mhm.
according to availability,
Of course.
honestly. But even then, at any point in time, we can add tickets, we can take away tickets,
Yeah.
we can add dining, we can remove dining,
Mhm.
move that around and such. And it's one of those things where if you're not booking till September 2025, this is when you're going to go.
Mhm.
You want to pay for it now. You're going to Port Orleans French Quarter. It's a
Mhm.
trip, a $6,000 trip, big trip, 9 days, 4 family, whatever, big family, and you go. Um, we don't have a lot of planning to even do until summer. And so
Right?
it's not as if I'm going to be on you every week going, hey, what about this? Hey,
No.
what about that? Hey, what about
Mm-mm.
this? We
Nope.
got plenty of time to talk about it, plenty of time to ask questions. So yeah.
Yeah. And that is one of those things where you'll hear from us periodically, but if you're booking a year and a half out,
Right.
it's not going to be even necessarily a monthly conversation. Like you can ask us questions at any point, but
Yes.
we don't
Yep.
have anything like coming up that's like, oh, we have
Mhm.
to prepare for this
Right.
until it
Right.
gets a little bit closer.
Yeah. And I even have a hard time talking to clients about their trips that are 18 months out about the dining plan. I mean, we'll talk
Because
about
it
the
could
overview and what
change.
it looks like because it'll change. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
what about this?
Same
And
with Genie Plus.
what about Genie Plus? And I'm like, we don't need to have that conversation right now
Right.
because probably by this September, it'll change as Disney has promised in
They
2024 it
have
would.
said that it's going to change. It's not a
We
secret.
don't know what it's going to be
We do
inside the
not
magic.
know.
Thank you very much. We don't know what it's going to be.
No, we don't.
In all the clickbait sites, but yeah. So anyway, that's your thought. That's our thoughts on 2025 booking or 2024 booking. I'm literally working on a Universal trip for 2 weeks from now. Because
Yep.
they're going for a conference. They're like, hey, we want to go on the trip. And okay,
I've done
you
a
know
ton
what?
of last minute stuff.
We'll book
Like
you right now whenever you're ready to
we
go.
can do it.
As soon as this conversation ends, actually, Jen's going this way, I'm going that way. We're booking trips, so
Yeah,
that's the way it
literally.
works. Absolutely. So, so we went down this weekend to the conference, to the fam, to the
Mhm.
whatever trip we were calling it. And Saturday we had what you basically put together as a kind of a scavenger hunt, kind of a
Mhm.
team challenge. And with
Mhm.
16 of us, you broke everybody into teams of 4, and you kind of
Mhm.
put different people with different people. So we would, associate
Yeah.
with other people, which is great, because there are some people that we don't see that much.
Mhm.
They don't come to the parks as much. And you gave us a list of things that we needed to accomplish. And I had the list here somewhere, and I don't even know where it is. A list of things to accomplish. And
Yes.
each team started out at a different park. Well, two
Yes.
teams started at Magic Kingdom, one at Epcot, one at Animal Kingdom.
Mhm.
You had our team
Because Hollywood Studio was our
right,
second part, was
right, and then
where everybody had to end.
yes, and then the second part of it was assigning to a resort. Like you had to go to a particular resort and do some things. Third was you pick a park wherever you want to go. Pick
Yeah.
a park, different park, do some stuff. Fourth one, you end up at Hollywood Studios. Different points for different things, character meets, rides, thrill rides, give a cast compliment, get water, that kind of thing. Our team was made up of the lovely Susan, the wonderful Jamie, and the very tall Eric, the very chill Eric. And so I had a team before. We were Purple Rain. Of course, we had a Figment themed team. Figment and Prince I did an AI image with the two of them together. It looked pretty cool because you had Figment with the ruffles and everything, and so we were Purple Rain. Of course, we had a team that
Yeah.
you were on temporarily because you had to fill in the gap.
I was filling in the gap for Heather.
Yes, the Pascal's gals. Based
Yep.
on the mascot, Rapunzel's best friend, little lizard Pascal. We had what was it? Was it Snow White? Team Snow
White Sweethearts.
Snow White Sweetheart. That, of course, was
Yeah.
Kyla. We had Michelle. We had our friend Alexa. We had Bridget on that team. And then we had the last team, which was
Bluebells.
Bluebells. That's right. That's right. We had our friends Jessica and Emily, who have been on the show here before.
Yep.
And they were with Donna.
Yep.
And of course, they were also with our friend Nikki, who had to go home early due to an illness, which,
Yeah.
she's better now. Thank you, Nikki. But
yeah, she's okay.
They
okay.
forged through with just three of them.
Mhm.
And it was pretty fantastic. It was a great run. So Jen, talk a little bit about, number one, why did you decide to do this? What made you decide to do a park challenge like this? And two, how did you put this together?
Yeah. Well, it was I wanted something a little bit different than what we've done in the past. Okay. Like, yes, we can sit and we can have conference room time, and that's
right.
That's fine. But honestly, we all know the product so well already. It's not so much that we need product training. We need experience and strategic, like, how are we strategically helping our clients get through the park? And I was just trying to think of something that also, implemented teamwork. Kind of thinking outside the box. And because it was a Run Disney weekend, we tried to correlate things to running. So, like we have our prep, we have our warm up, we have our stretch, we have our, our motivation. And then we have like our run, which was going through the parks, right? And then we, have a cool down where we meet up, have the prizes, and then, kind of a celebration at the end. So it really was, because we are better together. We really believe that at Aponosar. We are
better together.
We are better together. Like one of us.
All in this together.
Oh, not High School Musical.
High School Musical 3 senior year. Get it right.
Great. Girl, I'm so sorry. Yes. I'm so sorry. Yes. But like every one of us is so good individually, but there are things that we encounter that it becomes so much better when we can ask each other questions, and we can like bounce ideas off of each other, or, hey, I have a client who needs this, who's had experience with this, and everyone just jumping in. And that just really, it's like iron sharpens iron. We get better whenever we do something like this. So yeah, that was kind of the premise and thinking outside the box. It was a slow burn. It started with, okay, let's do training and let's do experiential in the park. Okay, how am I going to do this? I don't want to be in a conference room.
Did you have help, or were you the one sitting down making the list by yourself? Did you reach out to other people?
I was making, sometimes I would I would occasionally ask like questions that were like complete non sequiturs. Like, hey, what do you think about this? Like just like one specific thing. Like, do you think it's doable to like do this and then into this? Okay, that's good. All right, thanks. And like, but nothing, like I sat down and really, I put together the list. I created all of the like things. Yeah, like I said, bounce the initial idea of like, hey, what about if I correlate it to like running terms? And like, oh yeah, I think that's a great idea. Like you could use this. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, like those terms, like that works. All right. So then, yeah, just started getting down and crafting. And then whenever I, went through the teams, that took a while to just make sure that everything was, everything was evened out, and everybody had 4. I wanted 4 on a team because we had basically 16, so I wanted to make sure that the teams were even and that it was doable. And I'm like, okay, well, they are all locals. Maybe they want to drive together. Okay, so let's put them on the team. So there was just a lot of strategery
Yeah, it worked. It really worked because it was very well done. Well, I mean, I joked about the fact you exiled us to Animal Kingdom, which you did. But our team started at
Whatever.
Animal Kingdom. Which we had to do some Animal Kingdom stuff, and then of course we had to take this 45-minute bus ride from Animal Kingdom to
Hmm.
Epcot, and long bus ride, whatever, to Coronado Springs. But it was really well done because we covered Disney World. So it
Hmm.
wasn't as if all teams were converging in one little spot the whole time. It was, we all ended up at Hollywood Studios. But people started at Magic Kingdom. They started at Epcot. They started at different resorts were covered. Now we were
Yep.
at Coronado. What other resorts were involved in
Oh,
this? What
what
other teams?
involved? Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and this was another part of the strategic whatever,
right.
because I needed to put everyone, okay. So Coronado is in the Animal Kingdom area. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's doable to get there. You're not
Yeah,
spending a lot of extra time on
right.
transportation. It wouldn't have been
Uber.
fair
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
put you on, contemporary, because that's
Right.
like way far away.
Right.
Um, Snow White Sweethearts were because they were Epcot, so they were Riviera.
Riviera.
Because
Okay.
again, like Yacht Beach, that's too
Right.
close. That's walking
Right.
distance. You gotta
So they just
have
hopped
some.
on the Skyliner and just popped right over there in a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Versus a
who
20-minute bus ride. It's okay. It's all right.
yeah,
It's okay.
Michelle gets motion sick, so that was not
I gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
a and then let me see. Pascal's Gals was Wilderness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the Bluebells. Where did I put the Bluebells?
All Star
Oh my
Music. Oh no, you wanted a resort.
no,
You wanted a resort you had heard of.
yeah. Where did I put the Bluebells? Actually, I'm gonna look that up now. Right now because I don't actually remember. Here it is. Where did I put them? Yeah. Well, anyway, I will find where I put them. I don't know why I can't remember it right at this moment.
I'm actually reaching out to them now to ask them
Are
what
you?
resort did you have. Yeah, on Saturday.
No, here it is.
Uh,
Here's my spreadsheet where
mhm.
I had everything. I have like 7 tabs. Schedule. Oh, they
This is
were at Boardwalk because
Boardwalk. Got it.
they were at
Okay.
Boardwalk because
Right.
they could,
Right.
yeah, they
Right.
could get there. So
And
they
it
were
was
having
simple
the bus
things
set.
like take a picture of refillable mug station, take a picture of the pool, get a picture of this, that, and the other, and we saw a lot of pictures. Now I was posting all
Yeah,
day, maybe to my detriment because I had another team tell me that they were watching my stories and they
that
were
was
getting
Chris.
ideas of
Kristen
what
told
they
you
could
that.
do. And really the way it was laid out is that you basically you had your strategy earlier. Either early in the day, either you went hard on like
Yep.
characters and stuff, or you went hard on trying to get rides knocked out. And we went with some rides, which was time consuming versus characters. The winning team was Pascal's
Yes.
Gals. They had an enormous amount of points, including 17 meet and greets with
No,
no
17 in person,
17 in person.
18,
Yes,
18 like
yes, over the
background.
shoulder, that kind of thing. So yeah, just an incredible amount of characters
It
and
was
stuff. But
insane.
I put 29,000 steps on my stepometer on my phone that day. It was incredible. So this leads into the bigger discussion of just park challenges. Because again, if you've been several times, you're like, I want to do something different. I'm taking my kids. I'm taking my friends. We're all going. We've done the park so many times before. Let's do something different.
Yeah.
Park challenges are actually a good thing to do. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, the easiest one that everybody says is doing all 4 parks in one day. And I have many times said it seems intimidating. And for people who do it,
Mhm.
they're like, we did 4 parks in one day. And I just look at that like, great. That's okay. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not hard, especially with the 2 p.m. Park hopping thing now gone, where you can start at any park. You don't need a
Correct.
reservation.
It's
But what is
very
that?
doable.
But my question is for you, Jen, what does that look like? What if somebody says 4 parks in one day? Because they could walk into Epcot, turn right around, and
Yeah.
walk right back out, and be like, I did Epcot. I was in Epcot. For you, if you're doing 4 parks, what makes it like this
Like I
is
did 4
this is
parks in one day.
legitimate? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So for me, it has, this is just me. Everybody, I'm sure,
Right.
has their
Right.
own
Mhm.
criteria. But for me, it's like if I do an attraction
Yep.
and I guess a snack is optional, but like probably like some sort of a snack,
Mhm.
but definitely at least doing one attraction, walking around, seeing all of the sites, even if it's just people watching, I probably need to be in each park for about 2 hours,
Right.
to make it okay, I have spent time in each
Yes.
of these parks. So, I will say the park hopping was critical to this entire thing working.
Of course.
But I wasn't sure. So when I started building it in
Mhm.
with the resort time, I'm like, well, we've got resort time, so I could build that in. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because that park hopping, the 2 p.m. rule was still in place. We were done with Animal Kingdom by 10 o'clock. And so we would have
Right.
gotten Coronado at like 10:30
And
or
that wouldn't,
10:45,
and then
and
you would
just
have had,
hang out at Coronado until 1. I was like, what do we do here? Because we were
I
done with
would have had to
Coronado.
revamp big
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah.
I think, but honestly, by the
You would have
time I
sent us
was
to
ready,
Disney Springs or something for a couple hours or
that's
whatever. But
exactly what
yeah.
I would. But then whenever they like officially dropped the rule, that actually
Right.
helped me to.
Yes.
That's when I started finalizing. Okay, here's the list in this park. Okay, here's here, and here's
Right.
the list in this park, and
Right.
here's the bonus options.
So I would say 4 parks in one channel, and this is my personal rule. And actually, I was in
Mhm.
line at Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway on a different day with our friend Jamie, Casey, one of our agents, and her boys, and they
Mhm.
were asking about 4 parks, and this is how we did it because my
Yeah.
friend Joey and I did this a few years ago.
Oh
We
yeah,
did
you did
6
archaeology.
parks in one day, four parks plus the 2 water parks in one
Right.
day. And for the 4 parks, we made a minimum of 90 minutes. You had to be in the park
Okay.
a minimum of 90 minutes. You had to do one big attraction and one small attraction. So
Okay.
for Magic Kingdom, maybe Big Thunder and Small World or Peter Pan or something
Yeah.
like that. I mean,
Okay.
maybe
Cool.
not Peter Pan because the line's so long. You had to have one snack.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be necessarily crucial to that resort or that park like a Dole Whip, but you needed to have a snack of some sort. So
Okay.
typically that would take about 2 hours to do all of that, depending on the day and such. That happens for each park. And then with the water parks, we had to do a minimum of one slide, one
Mhm.
ride, one slide, whatever, a minimum of an hour. Now, at the time, Typhoon Lagoon, I think, closed at 6. We got there like at 5:30 because the buses were super slow. And this is really before the advent of Uber and Lyft and stuff. This is like
Yeah.
2013, maybe.
Oh yeah, that would have been.
And so
Yeah.
we only got 30 minutes in Typhoon Lagoon. We did 2 slides just to kind of, compensate for not being there for an hour. But we finished. We went to Epcot. That was the third park.
Is that your last one? Oh,
We were
third.
at Magic Kingdom at 9 o'clock, and it was open until midnight. So we had
Oh,
plenty of
perfect.
time. So and even then, even with the duration of getting stuck on buses and eating or whatever,
Mhm.
it was absolutely fine. But I think you do a minimum 90 minutes to 2 hours. If you're
Yeah.
only doing 4 parks, maybe say, you know what, we got to write 3 attractions, whatever
Yep.
they are, 3 attractions. Have a
Great.
drink.
Yeah, you just
whatever,
have to pick
snack.
a
Yes.
pick a number that makes sense,
Yes,
and
absolutely, make it sense.
be ready to call
Mhm.
it audible because, like,
Right.
listen, Pascal's Gals had Peter Pan on the list, like
Mhm.
as a
Right, because
requirement.
you had
So
an attraction on each one saying
I
you need
had
to
a
write this
specific attraction on each one,
Correct.
and now the
Correct.
rule you can skip it, but you
Right.
don't get the points.
Right.
We had to skip it because it was down. It was down the whole time. So, like,
Mhm.
don't be like, you have to be ready to call an audible.
Right. Well, and you should have actually reached out to the whole group and said, you know what, we can't wrap Peter Pan. Is it okay if we do Small World as a competition? Because Peter Pan's literally 90 seconds, Small World like 20 minutes. That would have been a
Right.
good
But the
compensation.
line for Peter Pan
Right.
is like 45, whereas
Right.
Small World is more like 15.
Right, but
you
it
know?
also would have, like, the time would have compensated. So, I would have gone
Yeah.
along with that. I'd been like, that's fine or whatever.
Yeah,
But
so
another challenge to do, and this is especially if you have younger people or people who
Yeah.
love thrill rides, is make a point system for the rides and say, you know
Mhm.
what, we have 2 teams, and every thrill ride, here's the list of thrill rides, gets you 3
Yeah.
points. Every small ride, dark ride, or whatever gets you 2 points.
2
And every
points.
show you see gets you 1 point or whatever.
Yeah.
And go and ride as many rides as you can during the day.
Yep.
All parks as much as you want to go. And we'll see
Yep.
you tonight. And so that's another challenge that I've seen done before,
That's a
where
great one.
you rack up points, and it's like the challenge comes in. Okay, Big Thunder is a 45-minute wait, but it gets us 3 points versus. Well, I mean, we can do Pooh for 20 minutes, but it only gets us 1 point. We do Pooh and this other ride, that's 2 points. Is the strategy
Yeah.
comes in about what do we do here?
But that's where the
No.
strategy comes. Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to
We
decide
did,
what's going to be worth
and
it.
I don't know that Disney will ever do a 24-hour day again. I wish they would. That'd be amazing. But Joey and I did 50 rides in one day, 50 attractions in
Oh
one
my
24-hour
gosh.
period. We did it on one of the final Star Wars weekends,
Oh, I remember that year.
Memorial Day
Mhm.
weekend.
Yep.
So it was so freaking busy. At 1 a.m, we were in line for Jungle Cruise for 2 hours.
We were there together. I mean, we were
yeah,
not
we were-
together,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but like we found out
Same
later,
time,
like,
same
oh, we were
time.
both at the same
Yeah,
time.
and I didn't meet you until a year later, and then you could have
Yeah.
hired me, but you didn't. But anyway, so
gosh.
this was, I remember doing that 50 in one day, and it was great because other people were getting involved in it.
Yeah.
People like cast members were seeing our list, and I will say this weekend, cast members saw the list and they were excited about the list
They were.
because you have to think too from a cast member's perspective. People are riding rides all day long and they're
Yeah.
talking to guests, and the guests are great, but suddenly you got a guest that comes up with this long list of activities to do, and it's not just rides, it's
Yeah.
everything, And so we're asking for stickers and we're talking about this, that, and the other. And shout out to Maddie and Noah, the cast members, because we had gotten Guardians
Yeah.
for like 3 o'clock. We
Mhm.
knew that we could not stay in Epcot till 3. We were running out of time. We're like, we got to get out of here as quick as possible. And we talked.
Because
to
you
Maddie
guys
and
did a
Noah.
third park because there's bonus
did.
points for a third park.
We did a third park, and so well, I mean, it was on the list there. It was.
Well, yeah, it was. But you
right.
didn't have to, but it was an
Right.
option.
So
right.
could that second park, when we said second park, could that have been Hollywood, and we just stayed in Hollywood the whole time, or
Yeah,
how did that?
it could.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
well,
could've
we did
stayed in
Epcot.
Hollywood.
just to get the extra points for a third park.
Mhm.
But Maddie and Noah looked at our list, and Noah was just giddy. He was so excited about this, and he looking over, and he's like, "This is great. This is amazing." And honestly, Jen, nothing on the list was hard. There was nothing that was like, "How are we gonna do this?" It was just,
Mm-mm.
it was easy stuff, but there was a lot of stuff to do. Getting
Correct.
water from a kiosk, we managed to get that and a snack at the same time. Stickers. Not every Blue Umbrella had stickers. We had to go to the baby care center to do an instruction video on the baby care center, and we asked for stickers, and they gave us stickers. So knock those out at multi things at one time. And I was, of course, sending you questions all day long.
All
All day.
day. I
Does
was
this
answering
count?
questions.
What about that? What about this? What does this count?
But
What
what's
does this mean?
funny is I was also throwing out bonus point opportunities in the
Yes, you
chat.
were.
Like
Yep.
throughout the day, I gave 5 additional. If you can work it in, you get, extra point.
Right. So yeah, you did points on that all day, which was great, which was a lot of fun for that. But
It was
yeah.
busy. All I did was tally. I was literally at one point on Pirates of the Caribbean in the back row, like literally just like tallying things that had come in throughout the day.
And I wish I had the list handy. I don't have it in front of me because I have it folded up somewhere.
Which one do you want?
Somewhere in this home. But just like, okay, so the list you have for, I guess the first park you have is what, Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
What are a couple of things on there besides? I mean, a couple of things.
So a
on there
lot
to
of
do.
them were actually similar. Like I had Peter Pan on ours because
Right.
it was, but
Right.
it's like do a throw ride, do a
Mhm.
blue umbrella, have an iconic snack,
Right.
a character picture.
And these are things you have to do in this park. So it's not
You have
like,
to do it in the
okay, with
park.
our second park, we have to do the character picture to knock it out. I mean, like, these are things you had to do in the park.
You had to do it in the park.
Mhm.
And then like find a hidden Mickey. Like
Right.
things like that. Nothing that's hard. You have a lot of choices with what to
Right.
do, but you had to document. It had to be photographic evidence.
Yep.
And because I know you all have albums, you can make albums, David. Albums
I don't
of
know what that means.
pictures from from past trips. You had to be in it. We had to have like the majority of people in the picture. Obviously one person could take it. If it was like an app based thing, because we did have some things that were app based, you had to prove that you actually took it that day. So people would like hold down one phone, put
Right.
their wristbands in the
Right.
picture to prove that it was
Yes.
actually being done at that moment, like, or
Right.
have like a person hold it
Well,
up
and
whatever
it
it's
was
like.
also the honor system too, because there are some
Need a
things you
little
ask for
bit.
pictures of that I had on my phone from like trips past, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
but you had to be in the
yeah,
picture.
exactly. But I'm like, well, I'm kind of wearing the same shirt, so I just whatever. And so yeah, but I mean,
But all
it
your
was,
teammates weren't there.
we had a WhatsApp going on,
Yeah.
which I seldom use WhatsApp, but I was using it all day for this thing.
Mhm.
And
I wanted to
was
keep it out of Messenger because we all
Mhm.
get so many Messenger messages that
Right.
it's easier to track in WhatsApp.
Right. Now, you mentioned earlier Parkeology, and that's parkeology.com.
Yes.
Park, Parkeology, I believe.com.
Sounds good.
They're a
Yeah.
website that, at least before COVID, they were offering up. Basically, they would give you like shout outs and stuff if you did
Mhm.
all rides in one day in a single, like either Walt Disney World or Disneyland. I've done both. I came 2 short at Disneyland. We came 1 short at Disney World. We're going to try it again sometime in the near future, which we were betting for charity and earning money for that as well. But
Sure.
Parkeology is a fantastic way to kind of do it,
Yeah.
because that is literally, you have to ride every ride available in one day, and if the ride opens and closes midday because of maintenance problems and it's closed for the day, then you lost, like you missed that ride.
But if it never opens for the day,
If it never opens for the day, you had no opportunity to ride it, so therefore it does not count. So
okay.
if we did it like next month, Rock and Roller Coaster's closed. So
you're okay.
It would not count, exactly. But Main Street Vehicles stopped running sometime around lunch, maybe mid afternoon. So if we don't get there till 2 o'clock and they're already done for the day, we
They
don't.
don't count.
Then the whole day's lost. Like the
Okay.
entire day is lost. Like the challenge is over at 2 p.m. And Disneyland, we had this problem too because the Zephyrs were running and then they weren't. They were closed much of the day. And so we just kept going. And while we were done with Luigi's Rock and Roller Coaster, we saw on Twitter that it was open. So we ran across the park, got there,
gosh.
hopped on, and it closed shortly thereafter. But had we not done it, we would have
we
missed
would have
it.
lost.
Exactly. And so for our Disneyland run, we were on Autopia, and we had Peter Pan and Nemo to do. We had 2 left, and we were like, well, let's get one of those knocked out. At least we will be 1 short. Autopia, we were done with Autopia at 11:55. Park closed at 12. Nemo was right there. We could daunt over to Nemo real quick, whatever. They kept us on the cars until 12:01. Like we sat there waiting to get out of the car. They kept us, and I don't know if it was a cast member going, you know what, we're done. We're done riding rides. Whatever. And so we couldn't get there. We was like we were done. We could not have done both. There's no way to get Peter Pan.
No, there was no way. There was no way to do
way.
both. And Peter Pan would have been too far. You couldn't have
Yes,
gotten
and
to
our
Peter.
mistake on that was earlier that day. We were at Winnie the Pooh, and we saw the Space Mountain had a single rider open, and the wait time was like 10 minutes. I was like, let's go do that real quick. Joey and I decided to do that instead of
Yeah.
riding Pooh, and we're right there. And at the time, Galaxy's Edge was not open. Winnie the Pooh was in a corner by itself.
Yep.
So
That's a
you had to go
trek.
up that hill and then come back versus just riding
Mhm.
it then and going to Space Mountain. We got there, Space Mountain single rider was closed, and the wait time was long. So we knocked out Space Mountain, got it done, but that Winnie the Pooh cost us so much time. That whole jaunt probably cost us 40 minutes, and we could have done it. For Disney World, there's just not anything else we could have done. I think we missed. There's a Flight of Passage, and I think we made a decision. You know what? We're going to knock out Flight of Passage. We're not going to do Flight of Passage because it's a 2-hour wait. We did everything. We got everything else done. We just could not get Flight of Passage. What was it? Flight of Passage. That's the one we missed.
Yeah.
And so we did, 48 or 49 rides, I think. And it was
That's amazing, though.
And we earned money for charity. Like, we had a whole list of rides and how much they were worth. And Joey and I together earned like $4,500 for charity.
That's
I had an autism
fantastic.
charity. He had a children's home charity. So it was great. We're going to do it again for charity pretty soon. But Parkeology is hard. And so one of the things that we're thinking, especially now with the advent, because back then we had fast passes, and the rules for Parkeology are you are able to use any method that any normal guest could use, be it
So
fast
you could
passes or
use
whatever.
individual
We can use
lightning
Genie Plus.
lanes,
Right,
Genie
exactly.
Plus.
Tiana's opening up this summer. We're probably not going to get there until Tiana's open, at least. So that's one of those early in the morning. If we don't get on, because my prediction is they'll go to standby line with Tron.
Yes,
They'll make it
probably.
Lightning Lane and standby line, virtual queue for Tiana and Lightning. So we can purchase 2. We'll purchase Guardians. We have to get in the VQ for Tron, and we have to get VQ or purchase Tiana. I mean, it really is one of those things. Like, this is all we can do.
That's all you can do.
And if we miss the virtual queue for Tiana's, we're sunk before we even start. I mean, it's just we can't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's insane. So what we're probably going to do is just make a list and just do as many as we can for charity. We'll see what happens. But that's another thing to do too. Is going back to the original topic, was make a list of the rides and assign points to them, whatever, or make a list of snacks. Make a list of eating around.
Oh yeah,
the world.
you can do any sort of challenge.
Yes. Now, have you eaten around the world before at Epcot? Have you done it in one trip?
Not in one trip. I think we have agents on the team who have done it in one trip, and obviously,
that's a lot.
You've eaten around the world? Oh, that's
well,
a
we
lot
went
of food.
During. I want to say it's Flower and Garden. This is Steph and I. This is many years ago. We decided we were going to get one thing from every booth available in Flower and Garden. And this is back before they had like 30 booths. This is back when they had like 20, maybe 22.
That's still a lot of food.
It's still a lot of food. There was one we didn't touch, the Florida cart. Everything was spicy at the Florida cart, and the beer cart because I don't drink beer. So beyond that, we did everything else. Got one thing. We spent a total of about $170 between the two of us, splitting some things, but other things like Canada with the steak and scallops. I'm like, I'm not splitting this. This is fine. I'm eating this on my own. Took 2 days, but we got our passport. Every page. This is back when they did stamps. Every page.
Oh, you got all the stamps.
Every page had a stamp on it. So it's one of those things like, we did this. We'll never do it again, but we did this.
No, we did
But that is another challenge too, is to either try something, make a list of snacks, Dole Whip, pretzel, turkey leg, blah, 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 whatever. Make a list of restaurants and maybe do it over the course of a couple of years. Say, you know what? These are 10 restaurants we're going to eat at the next 5 trips. Make your challenges, whatever. I mean, you can do whatever you want to because
the sky's the limit, so
and Disney actually provides challenges as well, because you've got the Perry the Platypus Agent P's thing over
well, it's not Agent now, it's
I forget what it's called.
DuckTales.
It's DuckTales. That's right.
It's DuckTales. Yeah.
It was Kim Possible, and then it was Agent P.
There was Agent P, and now it's DuckTales.
Where you check in, they give you a little device on your phone or whatever, and you do something.
I think it's on your phone now.
It is on your phone app now. Because it used to be on the cell phones.
It used to be.
Phones. Right.
Yes.
Right. And then you would drop them off of little boxes and
Correct.
stuff. But I believe it works the same way in concept as you go to each country, and each country has an activity to do.
It might even be the Play Disney app.
When you want. It might be. I still have to do the Play Disney app. I guess I should.
I mean, I do want to. If I'm in Galaxy's Edge, or I did for the Star Cruiser, that's whenever I usually used it.
So these are all challenges you definitely can do. You can do an animal challenge, do something for the kids, for the small children. Say, you know what, we're going to make a list of 10 animals we have to find in Animal Kingdom. And when you see them, make sure you check them off. Right now,
you could do a hidden Mickey challenge. Who found the most hidden? Oh, that's
absolutely the most obscure. Or here is a list of 10 hard to find hidden Mickeys. You got to take a picture of them. There's only one hidden Mickey that I cannot find.
Which one?
Two. One is on the Jungle Cruise. As you're coming out of the tunnel, there is a Minnie on the wall, a hidden Minnie on the wall. You cannot see it.
I've heard about that one. I haven't ever seen that one. I know it exists.
Yeah. When you walk out of Animal Kingdom, if you look up, there's the vine wall on both sides.
Yeah.
One of those walls has a hidden Mickey, and I can't find it. I I just can't. I can't see it. I've stood there for 30 minutes looking and staring, and I might be just over like not seeing it because it's like I'm looking for something
Right.
different. I don't know, but I can't find it. I can't
The
see it.
one that I always thought was really hard to
Mm.
spot was in the Great Movie Ride.
Which one? There was like a dozen.
Well,
I
there was
think,
a dozen,
right?
but like right
Yeah.
on in where you loaded. Like when you
Yes.
loaded on the
Yeah.
vehicles, there was one up in that Hollywood
Well, Minnie
scene,
was
and
in
I
the
found
one of
it
the Mickey was
once.
on one of the windows and like in
And
the
yeah, that
buildings.
one
Yep.
and then
Yep.
his shoe was underneath one of
Yep.
the posters. Oh yeah, there were
Mhm.
several, but the one in particular was that literally where the ride vehicles loaded up in
Right.
the Hollywood Hills area was there.
Right.
So
Well, one obscure one, and this is a whole different discussion about hidden Mickeys, but one obscure one that is really hard to see, and you have to know it's there to look for it, is if you go to the Tower of Terror, go to the left maintenance elevator.
mm-hmm.
As you're starting to go out to
Oh,
the
I
thing
know
where you drop
exactly
up
what
and
you're talking
down,
about.
as the elevator lights come together, it makes a hidden Mickey for
Mickey.
literally
A split second.
0.001 of a second, and you have there's no way to get a picture of it. There's no
Nope,
way.
you can't. But
It
you'd
just
be
you
like,
have
oh,
yeah. Yeah, and when you
yeah,
see it, you know it's there. So it's like, did
yeah.
I see a hidden Mickey? Then
You
you
did.
didn't see it. I mean, if you saw it, you saw it. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you asked if I find a hidden Mickey. Ours, the easy one was like Kilimanjaro Safari at the Flamingo Island.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
hidden
that one's
Mickey.
super easy.
Easy, super easy. I love hidden Mickeys, and you have contact because you should get Steve Baird on the blower here. We can interview him
He's
about
a
hidden
super
Mickeys.
interesting guy.
You should get him.
I've had him on Divas.
That's your assignment now. Get him on phone. So, park challenges. There are all kinds of challenges you can do. And Jen, again, kudos to you
Yeah.
for creating what you did on Saturday. Everybody had a blast. It was so much fun. So much fun to do. You were involved in it as well to a point. And
To a point,
for the
yeah.
audience, I joked about it, but Jen did not cheat.
No, I did not.
She very, very purposely just went along with whatever they said. She was not involved in strategy. She was like, whatever you say to do, we'll do.
Will do.
So
Mhm.
that, and so, yep, calculating, tallying all your stuff. So yeah, good job on that. Again, great job, Heather, for running the 10K and the 5K. Great job to
and she went straight from the 10K to
Yes.
Magic Kingdom. Literally did not
She
go
wasn't
home.
sure if she was going to be able to do that, but then when she
wasn't.
realized what we were doing, she was like, I'm in.
No, she was like, no, I'm gonna take a nap. And I'm like, listen, just whenever you get there, like, but I need you, like, if you could, I would like to be able to like leave and start tallying at about this time. And she was
Well, each team kind of had their own little obstacle to overcome because
They did.
your team was missing a player, and then Heather came in, so you kind of had to switch up in the middle of the day. The Bluebells, they had 3 people instead of 4, which may or may not have been an advantage depending on what they were doing. I don't know. Our team was all started out at Animal Kingdom in the very corner of the park, so that was a time thing for us. And of course, putting Kyla on a team with her team, I'm surprised they didn't make it. I'm surprised they're still not at La Cava. I'll be honest with you. They finished in 4th place, like 30 or 20 points below everybody else because they were like, hey, we drank a lot. So, which actually they didn't drink a ton.
They did not. They
did. They actually, but they had a good time with it.
But
Like,
they had a
let's just have
great
some fun."
time,
So,
and they their social media was hilarious
Yes.
throughout the day.
Yep. So they did some fun stuff there. The winning team, Pascal's Gals, was like 130 points. Our team was like 99 or 104.
You guys
or
were like
something.
99 points. I have the
So
tally
we were
somewhere.
well behind because they went all in the character pictures.
It
which
was the
is
character
okay.
pictures, and
It
that's
was,
what I
but-
said because everything else was
Right.
pretty
Well,
much
like
on
I
par.
said with the parkeology at Disneyland, I know what we did wrong. Disney World, we couldn't have done anything different.
Yeah.
I told Susan, one of our agents, basically, I'm like, because we chose this strategy of the rides, there's nothing we could have done differently.
No,
like,
there's
I
not.
think we did the absolute best we could, and we did
could.
really well with
You
what
did.
we got. And
You
so,
did. And I
yeah.
was shocked anybody was over. If it hadn't been the characters,
Right.
like just, and sometimes you can't guarantee when you're going to see them either.
Right.
Because like they'll be like out. Like we saw
Mhm.
Kevin in Animal Kingdom, but you can't always find Kevin in
Right.
Animal Kingdom.
Right.
Like it just kind
Well,
of
and you had
depends.
said it counts for a point if you have the characters in the shot. And so there was one point we were on the bridge at Animal Kingdom, and La Flotilla was in the distance with Timon and Pumbaa,
and Pumbaa.
and we took a picture of him over the shoulder, very grainy. You can barely see it, but
It
he
is
was
like
there.
barely
And
recognizable.
there's a picture of us living on the land, and up you see the Garden Grill up there, and there's Mickey and Pluto, and we took a picture over the shoulder, very grainy from the boats and living on the land.
Like
But I'm
I'll
like, hey,
allow it.
I'm like, it counts. So last thing though, when we were putting this together, any cautions on the challenge, anything you're like, stumbling block, or you're like, ooh, I can't do this, it's gonna be too hard, or whatever.
Like
So
when I was putting it together.
when people are making their own challenges, their own lists, or anything that maybe you're like, watch out for this, or don't do that, or make sure you do this.
I will say the more specific you are, the more you're going to tie your hands. So you
Yes.
have to make it achievable.
Right.
Because you'll screw yourself over on a challenge.
Yes.
Like you said, if you make it too much, like, well, you have to do everything in this order, or you
Right.
have to, because what if there's a ride down? Then you're going to like burn time.
Right.
So make it, I kind of think it's more fun to make it achievable, and then have bonus point options, because
Yes.
then it's like you can fill in, okay, no, strategy wise, we're not going to do this, but we're going to make it up because look at all these bonus point options. We
Right.
can figure out how to
Well,
do
and one thing you did that I was
this.
really happy about, and this is very
Yeah.
very well done on this, is the bonus points were not so specific that you could not do them any time of the day. Because there are certain things
Correct.
you could have assigned that I'm like, well, we can't do this. We could have done this 2 hours ago when we were
Right.
in that park, but we can't do it now. Thanks, Jen. But you didn't.
Yeah.
You made them very, very, like, they were specific enough to be worth it, but not
Yeah.
so pointed that you're like, crap, we can't. So good job on that. So
Thanks.
so you did really, really well on that. And so yeah, and I would say this too: if you're a first time park goer, this is not the thing. You need to
No,
do.
this is for like
Enjoy the
frequent.
parks. Exactly, for the
frequent
frequent
park
people.
goers.
I mean, even if you go down and you're like, you know what, we're down there for 6 or 7 days, we're in the parks every day. Make it a character challenge. Make yourself a list of characters to go find, and go meet all the characters, Mickey, Minnie, whatever. Now, Jen, I was upset that you required us for bonus points to ride Skyliner number 305. We couldn't find it. We spent 2 hours looking for that
Oh my
bucket,
gosh,
but
stop
it's a little
it.
much. It's a little much, but hey, we do what we could.
Whatever.
One of the things I keep thinking about doing is actually making myself a list of like 1 through 400. And every time I ride a Skyliner, check off the number. And I've done the Skyliner so much. This would take years, but I'm like, I can just imagine being in front of a cast member, looking at numbers, going, "Oh, that's number 57. I need that one. We're over there."
Okay, like that's my bingo. It's for my bingo.
No, I need 57. That's the one I haven't written yet. Yeah, just because I'm a dork. So anyway, Jen, where can we find you online? On all the places and catch up with all the stuff that we've done.
Yeah. You can find me out upon a star Jen, or my personal Instagram, which is Jen_Novotny. Next week we'll have a little bit different content, very last minute, very surprised. I'm actually jumping on a Virgin voyage at the end of next week.
Yes, excited about that.
As of last night. It was just a great opportunity. So here we go. Yeah.
World traveler that Jen is. Of course, find me on Facebook at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1. Find me on Instagram at The Disney on $1. Happy anniversary to my beloved wife for 20 years. We've done 20 years now. You're at 17, is that right? 16, 17?
We will be 18 this year.
18. Any thought to the 20th? Like in a couple of years, you're already thinking ahead to like, what could we do?
A little bit. It'll involve a long plane ride. I guarantee it. So
nice.
I know he's wanted to go to Bora Bora, which we postponed. So who knows? That maybe it'll be then.
Gotcha. So one of the things that, and we'll end with this, is that we stayed at the Contemporary theme park.
Yes.
My wife has never stayed at Monorail Resort. I have been lucky enough to do so with deep discounts, working through travel. It's been great. Last summer, we decided this is kind of what we wanted to do. So we paid for it all along. It's one of those things you look at it when you pay the final bill and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But we did it, and we were blessed to do so. And the way it worked out, like I did the 5K, I was at Pop for a few days, and then she came in on Friday, and she went ahead to the Contemporary, checked in.
Yeah.
She saw the room before I did, and she texted me, and she was like, "This is incredible." She's just, because I had been there before theme park view, but she walked out to that balcony, opened up the curtains, and there's the Magic Kingdom, like there's the castle, and there's Tron, and there's the, we saw the Let's Go water parade, one of the nights as well, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing. So, and this is a completely different topic, but hey guys, if you can save up for that dream trip, do it. I mean, if it means 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to stay at the Poly, do it. Because for 25, I think we're either going to do the Poly or the Grand Flow, because she wants to stay at the Grand Flow. She wants to stay there. So,
I support that.
like, yes. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But anyway, Jen, I'm Dave. That's Jen. Main Street Electrical Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. And don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.